Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Sports Exchange. My name is Scott Morgan, Motor City Madmouth. Candy Embling is off. Stephen Reichel will definitely be going ahead and producing for us tonight. So let's get to it. I'll talk about the crew. Tom Shanahan should be in any minute. Meanwhile, we'll start off with who we have, and that's Jacob Christopher. Welcome back.
How's it going?
Going great. Scott Solomon. Welcome back, Scott.
Glad to be here with you, Scott.
So what's that shirt read? Save Girls Sports.
Save Girls Sports.
And tell me what that's all about, Scotty.
Save Girls Sports is let girls play girl sports. Let them have their own sport. Don't have men try to interact into women's sports. I believe that men should have their teams and women should have their own teams.
Good. Well, nice cause. That's on one.
Love it.
And feature in. All right, we got Marvin Powell.
Hey, happy to be here. Scott, I'm happy you asked him about his shirt because I didn't know which way we were going with that. And I wasn't brave enough to ask, but I support that, Scott. Women should play women's sports, men should play men's sports. Keep them separate.
So I'm not afraid to ask the tough questions. You know that by now. Tom Shanahan, is he here or is he not here? But that background is certainly something that stands out.
Yeah, I'm here, but I can't figure out what's wrong with my screen.
Nothing's wrong. It's all right, baby. Let it roll.
Well, don't worry about your screen.
Hey, Marvin, you heard what I said? I said it's another Tom in the wall.
I did hear that.
There you go. Well, whatever. Just stay with your screens, whatever the brick is. They're highlighting you, whatever way loose. And last but not least, Tony the Tiger, who's on fire and devouring every topic that we can have, is one of my promising prospects in the system. Glad to have you, Tony.
Yes. How y'all doing? Great to be on. It's my first time on the first hour, so it's going to be interesting to see how we do.
It'll be good that you'll be on the entire show. You're going to get some really good experience tonight, especially knowing you're a fixture on the show going forward. So you'll get it all from sports and non-sports topics. With that said, let's get to it.
All right.
The SEC fined Mississippi State $500,000 for storming on the field after a 24-20 win over number 12 Arizona State. Obviously, that bit at the beginning of the year. Unfortunately for the Bulldogs, they finished the season 5-7 because of the amount of declined bowl invitations. They'll face Wake Forest in a bowl game in Charlotte on January 2nd. Jacob, your thoughts about the fact that they got hit $500K in the checkbook for storming the field?
Everybody's trying to protect the field. They're all protecting this. It's on basketball too. They all try to protect the court, and they fine for that. This is not the day where we remember the Forum in the Boston Garden. Everybody storming the court and nobody cared. But everything is about safety. Everything's about feelings. I'm not the biggest fan lover in the whole wide world, but the ones that just want to have a little bit of escape, I have no issue with it. I don't get the $500K. But the thing is, the kids don't think about it. They have the attention span of a fish anyway. So they're going to forget about that fine and do it again.
Scott?
I have a big problem with it. I think that the fans storming the field, that can create serious injuries for the players and the coaches. And the $500,000, that I have a problem with as well, because that's just money that hurts the kids. That's less money that the kids have to work with. It's not like the administration is going to lose that money. That's going to come out of the athletic budget, which is going to come out of benefits for the kids.
Tommy?
It didn't used to be. It used to be storming the court was saved for something very, very special, and now kids just want to get on TV and it gets carried away. I can remember when San Diego State was building its basketball program, and they were embarrassed that the crowd would storm the court over some kind of routine win, and that became a campaign in the student section not to storm the court just because they look silly. If you win a national title, that's one thing, but just because you upset some team, that's not worth storming the court or the field.
Marvin?
There was a time where I may have said that's just a drop in the bucket, but in a day and age where these athletic budgets are so high in the NIL era and what they're doing in recruiting, I would think every dollar counts. I understand the whole safety thing. The reality is I think it's really just a part of the game in college culture, storming the court, storming the field, what the kids like to do. Really has never been a problem. but also you look at where we are in these times, you know, and all the things that are happening. I know that they do a decent job of making sure people come into the stadium without any kind of weapons, but you know, there are all kind of issues with these crazy people, fanatic people, just these fanatics, period, you know. But again, I think the bigger point to me is the financial. I think $500,000, I mean, that can buy you a middle linebacker. You know what I'm saying? That's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? They're competing, you know, against schools who got real money. You know what I mean? So, and again, a lot of these schools, you know, some of these schools don't have huge budgets. With that said, yeah, it's unfortunate to see that part of the culture probably going away. But I understand.
Yeah, I'll give you a good example. Let me jump back in. Remember
Sure.
a couple of years ago when Iowa got beat at Ohio State in a regular season women's basketball game, and the Ohio State fans ran out on the court, and the kid, it was an accident, but the kid ran into Caitlin Clark and knocked her on the ground.
Wow.
It was a regular season game.
Wow. Well, there you go. Tony, your thoughts on this topic?
Well, that memo was sent out to teams before the season started, so it's kind of on the schools to make sure that they at least attempt to. But I understand what Tom is saying. I understand that because I think it was Colorado as well. They rushed the field this year after they beat Iowa State, and Iowa State was ranked number 22. They used to be reserved for like top 5 wins as like an unranked team. It seems like now is, hey, let's just storm the fields. The Caitlin Clark situation, that was a little different. Iowa was always ranked pretty high, and that happens in the regular season of college. But yeah, that $500,000, that's a big fine. I remember even Deion Sanders was like, hey, I'm all for it. Let the kids have fun. And then he heard about it in the press conference. It was like, wait, we might need to rethink this situation. I think the NCAA clearly needs to do a better job of like relaying that information to everybody, because if a D1 coach doesn't even know it, I'm sure there's a lot of other schools that don't really understand the fine situation for rushing the field. But I don't like them taking the fun away, man. I let the kids be kids. I got a friend that was at UVA when they stormed the field for Florida State. It's just all fun, man. Let's not take the fun out of it.
Well, I understand you're not taking the fun away from it, but let's face the reality. If you're on the field with a lot of people, it does get dangerous. You don't know who's going to get hurt. And that's the biggest thing that you worry about in terms of lawsuits and things like that can happen later on. And of course, $500,000 can buy you a player or two nowadays. It's not like it used to be, for sure. So let's continue on. Here, let's talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're currently 10-4, but you actually wonder what could have been if rookie Travis Hunter didn't have to undergo knee surgery. He is expected to return in 6 months. So, Jacob, what are your thoughts about Travis Hunter?
That's tough because I don't think he had any injuries in college, but it's always tough to have it early because then it lingers and lingers and lingers and lingers. And that's the thing is, will he come back strong? He didn't. It is one thing if he had a monster season and this happened. It's another when he did not have a monster season. He finally had one good game and then it happened. And that's the rough part. It's the rough part about it is like he didn't have a great season and then this happened again. It's like second year is always big because look at what happened with Jaden Daniels right now with a few others. It's like had these first years and then the second year goes. It's like the second year goes the pot. Travis did not have a wonderful first year. If he has a second year like that, it's going to get rough on his career real fast.
Scott?
I'm not the biggest Travis Hunter fan, and I don't think he really is going to make a difference on this Jaguars team this year, whether he was playing or not. I mean, they're leading the league second in takeaways, and they have a very good secondary as it is. He might have been exciting at wide receiver, but they got Jacoby Myers, so I don't know where he would really fit in.
Tommy?
Yeah, they barely used the guy, didn't? I didn't watch Jacksonville games, but they barely used the guy? He showed you what he could do for 2 years in Colorado. He's a special talent, a special athlete. They never figured out how to use him, his skills. Yeah, he was a rookie, but I think he was mishandled all year long. And yeah, he should have saw some snaps on offense. He's a great player. They're not going to use him on defense, use him on offense.
Well, the thing is, they traded up to get him in the draft with the intent to play both players with the Cleveland Browns. And obviously, unfortunately for Travis, he got hurt. They were trying to use him on offense and then defense. So it's tough to play two positions in football. And Travis Hunter, you're trying to get a player that can play two ways, and the NFL is just not an easy place to do it. Marvin ought to know, you played in this league.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think Jacob mentioned him as well. You look at Jaden Daniels, Travis Hunter. These guys have different body types. Not the kind of body types you see in the NFL, super successful so often. And I'm concerned about them. Now, I'm then reminded that Travis Hunter, he's been doing this his whole life, his whole career. But guys, the NFL, it's a grown man's league. It's different up there. And I'm not judgmental about his year this year. He was a rookie, he was a rookie, and, they were trying to figure out the best way to use him. The reality is he got hurt so fast in the season that it never really panned out. I mean, had he not got hurt, he'd be a different player, just going week to week, gaining more confidence and having a team become more familiar with what he can do. So, yeah, this is a guy that I still have decent expectations for. I do believe he's going to have to change his body type to a degree just to sustain in this league. But whether it's offense or defense or special teams, this guy's a ball hawk. He's a ball hawk. I mean, he has a nose for the ball, whether he's the receiver or the DB or the returner. He has a nose for the ball, and he has the ability to hit these creases and play great in small spaces. So there's a place for him. You'd have to say for them to jump the way they did in the draft, you would think that they were really certain as to what they wanted to do. And, you would think that maybe he's someone who's going to, play soon. So, I don't know. I think when you have a guy of that kind of talent, he can only help you. So if they're 10-4 right now, I think they'd be that much better with that man as a threat on offense, defense, or special teams. We'll see what happens next year. He's way too young to really evaluate and hasn't played enough.
Hey, Brody, if I'm understanding your question like I think it is, we're talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I think that we're talking about Travis Hunter. So I just hope I'm being clear with your question. All right, Tony.
I actually got to watch Travis Hunter a pretty good amount. I actually went to his first game against the Panthers. And it's interesting with Travis Hunter because his superpower is playing both sides of the field. And I don't know if he's going to be able to do that at an elite level in the NFL, but I also don't know if he can sustain playing on both sides at a decent level in the NFL. So it's going to be tricky to see what they do with Jacksonville. I feel like he does have to pick a side because watching him on offense sometimes, like I remember watching the Monday Night Football game against the Chiefs, it looks like he was a little lost out there on offense. And that's probably because he's trying to consume a lot of information. I can imagine you figuring out a defensive plan throughout the week and also an offensive plan throughout the week. Some signals are going to get crossed. So I think in this time and his body type, like Marvin said, he's a small guy. He got hurt, and to mention Jacob, he got hurt in Colorado from taking a hit, lacerated his liver. Okay, he's a small guy, and the college guys and NFL guys are two different sizes. So I don't know if he can continue to take that pounding. I think he may need to pick a side and stick to that. And it might be cornerback. You can find a lot of elite wide receivers. It is very hard to find elite cornerbacks in the NFL. So I think that should be the move for him going forward.
I'm going to go back to Scott Sullivan. Anything you want to add to this?
Yes, Scott, you and I both watch a lot of Jaguars,
Right.
And we see a lot of their defense every week for the work that we do. And I agree with Marvin that his body type is different and he's built differently. But he played over 100 snaps a game in college for 2 consecutive seasons. That's got to build a wear and tear on your body.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think you can do that in the NFL.
Oh, no question about it. The physicality, Scott, will take a toll on you in no time. Let's face the reality. When you had 2 sports stars like Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders playing 2 different sports, you can do that for so many years, but ultimately either way, there's the body can only take so much regardless. And in this case, playing two positions on the NFL further documents your point, Scott. Great point. I'm glad you brought it up. Let's continue talking football.
God, just to be clear, I'm not talking about playing them both ways like in college. I'm talking about using them some way. He barely played defense either. And,
Right.
if going back in time, it's a lot like O.J. Simpson. He came out in 1969, and they never gave him the ball. They were using him more like a running back catching the ball out of the backfield. And then the new coach came in the next year, and they started handing the ball off to him. So that's what I mean. The Jaguars didn't come up with a plan to use his special talent. I don't care if he's not big enough. The guy has an amazing athletic ability, and he plays. He's a smart player too.
Well, I'm kind of surprised. You have all these mini camps and OTAs, and to not have a plan to me after all that time and knew what you were getting out of college. That does kind of befuddle me that Liam Cohen and company weren't a little more organized in terms of his skill set.
Well, one thing too is remember this. You brought it up, Marvin, that it's a different skill set. Tony, same thing. As far as the NFL. Here's the thing. Also, Deion, he played the duel in college, and then in the pros, literally was slot guy that went to the house, like maybe two plays a week for the offensive side. So, I'm telling you, Travis Hunter is not Deion Sanders.
Yeah, you forget Deion was much bigger than Travis. Deion was a big dude.
Yeah.
Deion. I mean,
Deion's way bigger than people thought.
Yeah, he's a big dude, man. So again, you don't have to be huge to play in that league, but it's a grown man's game. The tempo is much different than college, and the physicality is greater as well. So
you said grown. Marvin, you said grown man's league. I saw a picture with Lamar Jackson warming up one of the sideline reporters, and I'm like, I looked at Lamar, he's 6'2", and I'm like, that's a very large 6'2". just the wide width of his shoulders, the width of his whole body, and that's a different world.
And Travis Hunter's listed 6'1", 185, and Deion is listed. He played at 6'1", 198. We're only talking 10 pounds.
Right.
No, that would be a lot. It's not a 6'1" guy.
All right, let's continue on college football. At one point, number 8, Georgia Tech was upset by NC State, ending their undefeated season. That was during the week. The following week, Miami thrashed NC State. Don't I ever know about that game? I've only talked about this on this show 9 million times. The Wolfpack do get the play in the Gasparilla Bowl against Memphis. Could this finally be the end, though, of Wolfpack coach Dave Doran? Memphis is 8-4, and NC State 7-5. I guess the question is how many lives does this guy have? If Memphis lays a beating on Doran and company, we know what he's going to be like in the post game. But the reality is, NC State coming off yet another subpar 7-5 average season. Jacob,
nah, I've already heard they're going to keep him. I was reading up on something. I might send it to you sometime. They're already going to keep him for another year, unless he just did another one of those things and then they just changed their mind. I think he's sticking another year.
Okay, that's fine. Fair enough. Well, I'll see him at ACC Media Day, and I'm looking forward to that. That's for sure. I have that already on my calendar anyway, Scott. If you want to join me, feel free to do so. I can guarantee it'll be something you never forget with your controversial sidekick here. Okay, Scott Solomon, and that'll lead you into that one. Go ahead, Scotty, with your thoughts about tomorrow night when NC State, or later in the weekend, NC State takes on Memphis. We all know the controversial nature of Doran. He's certainly rough around the edges, to say the least.
Dave Doran, I don't think is going to get fired. He's going to keep his job at least one more year, maybe two. They're going to give him some time to rebuild that program. The program hasn't really been the same since Chuck Amato left, and they haven't had a quote unquote great season in the ACC for years. I think that they have the ability to recruit. They have the money. They have donors. They have benefactors, and they just need more time. A little more seasoning, Scott.
Okay, well, we'll see. It'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing him in July after I have a nice, relaxing cruise out in Europe, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. Then I could go ahead and wind up for ACC Media Day. We'll do our thing, Scott, with all the different things we're working on, and then I'll be on fire anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. I'll have more energy than Energizer Bunny. Tommy, we've talked about it again. Where do you think Doran stands at this particular point? I'll certainly be watching that game for sure on Friday. I think during the day anyways. So I stomached my way through the USF Old Dominion game, which was a laughable outcome, but I won't go into that. Well, let's talk about
there's no question he's coming back. He has the backing of the athletic director, Boo Corrigan. He said he was going to wait till after the year to evaluate him, and they finished with a couple of big wins. They beat Florida State. And then most importantly, they beat North Carolina, whipped them 42-19. Doran has always said when he got the job, they told him your most important job is to beat North Carolina. Well, he's now beaten North Carolina 5 straight. And out of 13 years, I think he's beaten them 10 times, maybe only 9. But he's definitely had the edge on the rivalry. NC State has always been an up and down program. Right. They were under Tom O'Brien before Doran, and it's just one of those things that plagues the program. The bigger questions are going to be, like every other program, how many players are coming back? What kind of NIL money do they have? How can they keep the roster?
Marvin?
Listen, this is NC State. We're not talking about, Georgia or Alabama. So if this guy has beat his rival 10 out of 13 years, he won 7 games this year with wins over Virginia and Georgia Tech. Why would you fire that guy? Well, how high do you think the standard is at NC State? They're celebrating that probably. You know what I'm saying? And how competitive are they really being in NIL? I know this. I've been looking at the top 10 in recruiting. I don't recall seeing NC State there. So he's probably doing the most with the least in many ways. I know Scott said they had money, but it's not showing up in the recruiting. So listen, yeah, he's going to come back. He's beaten the rival. He has a winning record. He's in the conference with Clemson and UM and Florida State. He's beaten other good teams. I mean, it's hard to find a good head coach out here. And for a program like NC State, that's a win. Man, he's their Bear Bryant. All right.
That's really setting the stage high.
He is their all-time wins record holder. He broke the record.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's coming back.
He broke the record. Last year, he broke the all-time record of Earl Edwards, a former Michigan State assistant with Duffy Daugherty, who desegregated NC State's program in 1966. 4 years before Bear Bryant ever dreamed about
it. Hey, Shanahan, you kind of look like Mike Royko coming down from the heavens. Giving us.
I've tried to fix it. I can't figure out what's wrong.
Yeah, well, all I can tell you is this: if the only thing that saved Doran from anything is winning against North Carolina, more power to him. But I'm not finished with this. You know what? That's all I can say. That'll be this matchup, Marvin, as you know. We'll have Muhammad Ali knocking out George Foreman when round 2 comes up. All right, so we'll leave it at that. Marvin, you know what I'm all talking about, my brother. Yeah. I am passionate about this one, but we'll see. Miami, the only thing I wish they would have done is they would have put a goose egg up there, 41-0. Everybody knows I don't particularly care for North Carolina State. Not so much the program. I don't care for Doran, but I love Jim Valvano, who was North Carolina State all the way. That guy was that. And Tommy, I have some bonus topics for you to talk college basketball, subjects you're really going to like. So I'm glad you're on here tonight. I dug them up especially for you. All right, Tony, some final thoughts on the NC State situation and their bowl game coming up.
In regards to NC State, I'm with Marvin. It's NC State. What are we doing here, man? At best, they're a basketball school, and we can debate that if you want to even have that conversation. They're just a middle-of-the-pack D1 school when it comes to sports, at least the sports that I watch. They might be great in lacrosse. I don't know. But he's of course he's going to have the job. He would have been fired already. Unless the coach in waiting is in-house, there's nowhere else to go. So of course he's going to have the job at least throughout this year, because who else they got?
Well, there's other ones out there, but Mike Gundy, I think would be all right if he ever wanted to go there. But we'll see. I don't know. There's been another. There are all these college firings out there that you have like 30, 32. There's a lot of them. I'm just mentioning them just to put the name up there. It doesn't matter. We'll see how it plays out. Reality is he ended up beating North Carolina again. And what do you expect? He saved himself for another year. And one of the falling outs because of that is the fact that UNC has fired offensive coordinator Freddie Kitchens. During his one season as offensive coordinator, the Tar Heels finished the regular season number 131 in offense, number 121 in scoring offense, and number 119 in red zone offense. Jacob, Freddie Kitchen, who couldn't develop Baker Mayfield, gone at NC with Bill Belichick.
Well, what's so funny is it doesn't shock me because his very first drive was a touchdown. And then after that, it's almost like they had all these plays for the very first drive, all everything sweet. And then they just went basic forever. And it was a rough year to watch. Like, what happened to all that? Then you go back and forth between, Gio Lopez and Max Johnson. Was it Max Johnson?
Yes.
Yeah, Max Johnson. You go through Gio Lopez and Max Johnson, and it's back and forth. Max Johnson looked decent for for a couple quarters, and then he had a horrible game the next time. Then back to Gio Lopez. And in truth, this was necessary. It really was, because it's not just the first play and they get a touchdown and everybody, and it's, and then it's, oh my God, Bill Belichick looks awesome. Really, that offense made Bill Belichick look like he shouldn't have come back. He should have stuck with his 24-year-old. So what do you do now? You gotta get a fresher mind, because the thing about it is, when I think of an aging college football coach that got a fresher mind because he had to go to all these deals, all these coaching symposiums, it was Joe Paterno, because he was heading into that same direction. So it's about time for Belichick to do the same thing or retire.
Scott?
I think the whole staff's got to go, from Belichick all the way down. That was a terrible hire. And Belichick's got no business being in college football. The guy's 900 years old. Get him out of the league already. Maybe he should go coach the Giants, and they'll put him up in a retirement home somewhere in Paramus. But he definitely does not belong in North Carolina.
Tell me how you really feel. Great stuff, Scott. I love your candor on this one, especially this one, pal. Okay. Tommy?
Hey, if NFL teams didn't want him, I don't know why North Carolina wanted him for $10 million. How many players could Mac Brown have bought for $10 million, or some other younger coach who knows how to run a college program? It's completely backfired on them. They didn't know what they were doing as college coaches. Maybe they learned something. We'll find out. But they didn't fire his son, defensive coordinator, making, I think, $1.3 million, and then his other son working as a defensive back coach. So there's a lot of grifting going on at North Carolina.
Marvin?
Yeah, I have a tough time. Really, listen, it's all about the leadership at the end of the day. I get that. But in this situation, it's more about the Jimmys and Joes than the X and the O's. I don't doubt. Listen, Freddie Coach has been in the NFL. He's coached in college. He's had success. We're not going to sit here and even debate Belichick's resume and his ability to transform, teach, and coach players. They didn't have a real opportunity to get that roster right. It's a roster situation. Okay, let him and Mike Lombardi, get their guys in from high school, get them a year or two, in the program. Let them get some seasoned veterans out the portal. Belichick can still coach guys. He hasn't lost his mind. He knows how to motivate players, even, especially in this NIL era, which is essentially the NFL. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying give him another year in the system with his players. Let's see what we get.
Yeah, I agree with you. You got to give him at least 2 years. After 2 years, then you wonder what's going on. I know there's so many distractions with his girlfriend. I'm not going to even get into that. But the reality of the situation is he got involved with the job, I think, a little bit too late to go through the actual recruiting cycle. We all know NIL's messed up, transfer portal's messed up with one window, but he'll definitely be under a huge microscope in year number two. But he needs at least two. Tony.
Um, I don't think Marvin. I don't think he cares about the high school players. You bring in 71 players through the transfer portal. That's not going to work. I think Freddie Kitchens was a scapegoat. You mentioned the Suns that's still getting. Hey, their defense looked terrible. So I'm trying to figure out why the defensive coordinator didn't get fired as well. You transfer, you bring in all these people. You're not going to have no continuity. You think you're going to run it like the Patriots, kinda, and you try and X out media, you try and be like some tyrant, but you got your girlfriend running around here in meetings. It's a whole lot of mess going on in Carolina. And I am from the great state of Carolina, and I got a lot of friends that are in family that are Carolina fans and thought it couldn't get any worse under Mac Brown. Well, didn't it get worse? This is terrible. I agree that you normally don't want to get rid of a coach within year one, but I can't think of I can think of this. This is the perfect time to do so. If there was a time to get rid of a coach after 1 year, this is it. This was embarrassing. You go game one against TCU, you bring out Lawrence Taylor, you bring out Michael Jordan, you do all this, you bring all these big wigs out here, you score one touchdown, and that's it. They go
right at the beginning,
and then they go on a basketball run to finish the rest of the game. That was just terrible. And Belichick seemed like he just down there for the money, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a lot of BS that's not the normal Belichick way. So I think Freddie Kitchens was a scapegoat out of all this. He needed to cut his girlfriend, if you ask me.
No. Let me say this. His girlfriend is like Ainsley from Landman. Yeah, it's like he's not bringing in high school because he wants them around her age.
Okay, let's move on. Tampa's going to host the 2029 College Football National Championship game, Raymond James Stadium, and they'll be back on the big stage. What do you think, Jacob? Well, obviously, Tampa's hosted big events. I've been to that stadium many times. What are your thoughts about
You broke
Tampa?
up a little on that one. I hope I don't have to reset. Say it one more time.
Sure, absolutely. Tampa's going to host a 2029 College Football National Championship game at Raymond James Stadium, and that area will be back on the big stage. Some thoughts about Tampa getting it?
Yeah, that's fine. It's a beautiful stadium, and it's a perfect kind of weather. And we're really getting to the point. I'm really thinking everybody's going to start just getting either domes or they're going to start getting these kind of warm weather stadiums. Right. I'm thinking all of this is what we're going to start seeing. Is all these places that want to be able to get a national title game, they're going to get themselves their own domes, everything. They're going to stop. We're not going to see cold weather stuff in the next 10 years, I don't think. It's because people are just going to want the business.
Scott?
I think it's terrific. I think it's terrific for Tampa to get the college football national championship. It's good for the sport. They're going to have a great stadium to play in. They've put on a show for Super Bowls. They're a first-class city. I believe that they're going to do a good job with it, and let's hope that Miami gets to play in it.
Okay. Tommy?
Yeah, they have lots of experience as a host city, not only for football, but for the basketball Final Four. I think they even had a Frozen Four there 1 year for hockey. So it seems like a logical destination.
Marvin?
Yeah, listen, I get the warm weather situation. I think it creates a better product on TV. And, we want to see the teams be able to play without crazy elements. So, you figure, February is when they play this. That's, after, that's not hurricane season. So probably no rain. But hey, listen, I'm an old school dude, man. Ain't nothing wrong with the ice ball, okay? Ain't nothing wrong with playing a little football and in that Chicago weather that they're about to face on Thursday. So yeah, I'm sure Tampa would do a great job. They've hosted many events. It's a great city, and those kids that have a good time. But let's not run away from cold weather. Let's not run away from real conditions, guys. We love those games too.
Tony?
Marvin, these games are for the casuals. This ain't for the diehards, man. So they can't be having them out there freezing. We gotta get them corporate checks. Some people paying them $1,000 tickets ain't trying to be put out there. It's great, man. You know, Miami, Tampa, San Diego, LA, San Francisco. Those are going to always be the first places you look at for outdoor stadiums. And then after that, you go domes, you go Superdome, you know, Jerry World, all that stuff. So it's a norm. It's cool for me. I like it. I feel like this is the second year it's been there since they've done the college football playoffs. I don't know for sure, but Tampa's always a great place. They've hosted Super Bowls and the like. So it's cool for me. Right down I-4.
All right, let's go to our featured topic of the night. And it's a Philanthropist one. Always like bringing these up. Detroit quarterback Jared Goff donates $150,000 meals yearly to kids and families who cannot afford food. Jacob, this guy is not only a heck of a player, but a bigger philanthropist.
Oh yeah, and that's necessary, and it's great. And you need somebody in your city like that all the time. You really do, to be able to represent the city like that. Especially around the Christmas and Thanksgiving time, and be able to give. You know, I mean, $150,000. I mean, I would have thought he'd give a little more. He had a nice contract, but you know something? Who cares? It's a wonderful gesture.
Yeah,
and it's a wonderful gesture to be able to do that. And it by itself, though, I wish there was a way that you could be able to give more where it stops all this, but it just keeps going. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you think about Jared Goff, he's become a folk hero in Detroit. And obviously Matthew Stafford left. He was traded for him. And he certainly found a home there. Matthew's done well. Scott, what are your thoughts about the gesture by Jared Goff?
I think it's wonderful. I think it's a very nice thing that he's done. And it's, you know, certainly something consistent that a team representative for the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award would do. I don't know if he got the nod this year for Detroit, but that's something that is consistent with what they would do. And I take my hat off to Goff for putting his money back into the city where it belongs.
Tommy?
Yeah, I bet you Jared Goff is more popular than Matthew Stafford was with the Lions. Now, of course, a lot of that has to do with Goff has been on winning teams and Stafford was not. But if you took the win-loss equation out of it, I think Goff has fit into the city of Detroit among their fans better. I think he'd be more popular if they had the same results.
I think there's no question about it. He fits in. He's a blue-collar guy, very appreciated in Detroit. I think he did all right with obviously the Rams, but the way he fits in and embraces that town, and me being from Metro Detroit, I can tell why he's definitely fit in well. Marvin?
Yeah, I mean, great story. Obviously, this is what you want to hear. You know, not any of the negative stuff that the media loves to promote. You know, there's a lot of this going around. Maybe not at $150K a year, but you got a lot of players that do a lot, have a lot of impact, and it's just not out there. Obviously, you know, this is significant. And it's smart, you know, it's a good thing. It's strategic, you know, make the people love you, man. You know what I'm saying? Give them a few wins, give them, you know, give them a few hot meals. That's a good thing, man. So smart on his end. I think it's outstanding that he's chosen to impact the community in this way. And I love to hear these kind of stories.
All right, Tony.
I love these stories. I remember a while ago I seen a post. It was about, I think, Russell Westbrook opening a school. And I feel like this. I feel like sometimes these athletes are doing more than the government are doing for people. And, you know, but this is great for Jared Goff. Like Marvin said, you hear a lot of these stories. You know, that these players are making more money than ever, and they're giving more than ever. You know, even if they gave $100, whatever it is, that's their money, and they're giving it away. I am happy that they're helping their community, and that's how you become more popular in Detroit than Matthew Stafford.
I'll tell you, Detroit's a great sports town. I know they'll support their teams, win, lose, or draw.
Say this about Matthew Stafford. I'm just going to say this part. He became popular because of the wins, and they don't have a lot of wins in Detroit. You know what I mean? So he became that, but time made him that way too. It's like you got to realize the what's a respected Matthew Stafford, because he didn't have a whole lot of wins. The respect was just the fact that he showed up through a lot of beatings, through a lot of everything. Whatever the wins came through, he grinded through whatever he could be able to get. So there was that respect, because it's all they had. But time has taken the thing. They've got respect for him over in Los Angeles. You know, I mean, Detroit fans are happy that he got a Super Bowl, and it is what it is. But time went in, and it's now Jared Goff.
Well, Detroit gets in the Super Bowl. Jared Goff will have a statue. That's how much they embrace it.
I'm going to say something real quick on this.
Yeah, go ahead, Steven.
Stafford gave $1 million a year to Detroit through philanthropy when he was
Philanthropy.
Right, there you go. Thanks, Steven. And by the way, look forward to having you on maybe in the second half of the show. Let's continue on. And we're going to go to Tommy's neck of the wood, the ACC country. John Shearer is the fastest coach in ACC history to reach 100 wins. And Shearer has 100 wins, 22 losses in 4 years with the Blue Devils. What I'll tell you, talk about a way to succeed Coach K. John Shire has gotten it done.
You said Shearer. I'm like, when that little
I know. I was thinking about him. John Shire. Okay, go ahead, Tommy.
Well, it's good to see that, because it's hard to. It is. I mean, I have always talked about I would love to be able to coach one day. I've done some volunteer coaching, and I would be able to, but it would be hard for me to take over a legend. It just would. I'd want to make my own thing. So someone could take over legend and keep where it's going. You know, keep the way. I mean, the nice consistency of Duke. It just shows that it's a great program.
Yeah, well, you follow Mike Krzyzewski, and you do well behind him. That's an incredible accomplishment, Scott.
Talk about being born on third base. I mean, that guy just stepped into a winning program that's a dynasty. He's a very good coach. I don't take anything away from him. But Coach K developed that program into what it is, and he built it up to the powerhouse that it is. And Duke will always be strong, regardless who they have as the head coach. They recruit real well. They get the best players. They always win, and they're like the Yankees of the ACC in basketball.
Well, no. Here's the thing, though, Tom. This is the thing too. I mean, whether it's in pros or college, who took over for all the years ago? Who took over for John Wooden, and how did that happen? How did that work out? Let's go to the pros. Who took over for Vince Lombardi, and how did that work out? Who took over? It's hard to take over for a legend. It really is. You really have to be able to know the program and do everything, and you can't lose much. You really can't before they start to do it. So Shire's doing a great job. Even if he was born on third base, you can get tagged out.
Well, the reality is this. You're in the ACC, and to become the fastest guy to 100 wins, and that conference is unbelievable, isn't it, Tommy? You obviously live there. What do they think of Shire?
Oh, he's always been liked in Duke. You know, he was an assistant coach. Well, he was a player on one of the NCAA title teams, and then he was an assistant coach for a long time. So the fan base was knew a lot about him. The players all like him. And in fact, he had really taken over the recruiting those last few years. And he was responsible for a lot of those top players that are coming in at the end of Coach K's career. And he hasn't missed a beat since then. He had Cooper Flagg. He's got Carlos Boozer. That's his dad. Cameron Boozer, who I guess is picked third in the mock drafts, but if he picked him first, it wouldn't be a mistake. The guy is such a mature, smart player. And so Shire has done all that. He just has picked up where everything left off. He has a personality for it. He has the backing of the players, the fans, and he's a lot more fun to be around as a writer too. Coach K could get snarky at times, and Coach John Shire is a real friendly, good guy.
Marvin?
Yeah, I was thinking about Scott's comment about how he was born on third base, and I'm thinking to myself, Kalen DeBoer doesn't feel that way. He doesn't feel like, he's feeling that heat. And I agree with Jacob for just this and that. I think it's easy for that thing to fall apart in the NIL era, especially in basketball, where these guys are really unloyal and they just hop teams like it's nothing. Kudos to Coach K for identifying his successor, for grooming his successor, and for making sure that Duke basketball stayed in good hands. I think a lot of this speaks to the leadership of Coach K more than anything else. You know, he was given the opportunity to choose who'd be the coach. And I think he knew what he was doing. I think there's been a plan in place in his mind, and we're seeing this thing come to fruition.
Tony.
I think John Shire, first of all, I hate Duke, so I'm just gonna let it out there. Can't stand Duke basketball. But I will say this though, John Shire, and it goes back to what Marvin was saying with Coach K, him identifying his successor and him realizing, just like a lot of older coaches in college basketball, this ain't my game anymore, was perfect because John Shire slid right in. And yes, he got the Cooper flags. Yes, he has the boozers now. He had Kneppel, all those one and done guys, the NIL guys, the money that can pay, and you know Duke is going to pay. And I don't think Coach K was willing to deal with those things. And I gotta push back on you again, Scott, with born on third base, because as a Carolina Hoops fan, Hubert Davis, he succeeded Roy Williams, who once Roy Williams got to Carolina had better numbers than Coach K, and he's not doing as good as Roy Williams was. You know, where if Shire keeps this up, he can possibly surpass Coach K. And I know we're talking 20, 30 years ahead, but he's already starting off ahead. And and that can fall apart, like all the guys say. Is examples of that. So I think it works out. I don't want to give too many compliments to Duke, but John Shire is doing a decent job over there.
I will stay with college basketball. Michigan State is ranked number 9 in this week's AP Top 25 poll. Michigan State is currently 19-3 in Big Ten games, which is the best winning percentage for any 22-game stretch in conference history. Jacob, Michigan State's looking awfully good as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, look who the coach is. We're bringing the. I mean, speaking of this, and how long before he retires, and we see. I mean, who's going to step in on that?
Right, he just got some more money.
Huh?
I think they just gave him a raise, so not.
Yeah, but I mean, well, he's still older, but you can never tell. But I'm saying, look at him. But I mean, it's Tom Izzo. It's like this is not a shock, and I mean, he's got one ring, right?
Yes.
It wouldn't shock me if he got his second and went. You know what I mean? It's just because you're not going to get. When you get to a certain age, you're not going to get any better. And his teams are starting to look like they could be contenders. So you're taking a look at that, you know.
Scott, Tom Izzo follows Judd Heathstone. Unbelievable.
Tom Izzo is great. He's a spectacular coach. He recruits real well. He coaches well. It's just Michigan State's got a first-class program, and I'm happy to see them in the upper echelon this season.
Tommy, obviously, I don't know how you feel about Michigan State.
Yeah, he's I think Coach K was 76 when he finally retired, and Coach Izzo turned 71 in late January. I would expect him to go to 75 or 76 because he's talked about this. He's having more fun than ever coaching. Well, I shouldn't say more fun than ever, but he's rejuvenated, having emerged through all the problems that the college basketball has have faced, similar to college football. And he's still building teams. He gets good players, but he doesn't get Duke caliber players. But his players develop and they go on to the NBA. He talks about how he loved last year's team. He loves the continuity and the camaraderie of this year's players. And he's got one of his best recruiting classes coming in next year with a 7'1" guy. So I'll be surprised if he doesn't coach at least 4 more years.
I agree. Number one is kids graduate and they love him, and they play 3 or 4 years. I mean, he's one of those few guys that can get away with being able to keep getting points because they all go there to play for Tom Izzo. Great point, so Tommy. Marvin.
You know, I kind of agree with Jacob. I wouldn't be shocked at all if this guy walked sooner than later, just because, you know, the bulk of his coaching came in the pre-NIL day. he chose to be a college coach. He could have coached in the pros and made a career out of that. But these guys chose college for a reason. And I think that these older guys, I think they struggle a bit, between the transfer portal, NIL, and now you have a situation where you got G League players coming back to college. It wouldn't shock me if all this ultimately became too much for him. I've seen them play this year one time. They look tough. I don't know. I think they may have played against USC, but they look tough, man. And I told myself it wouldn't shock me if this guy made a run this year. So yeah, great coach, legendary coach. I don't doubt that he bounces here in the next year or two.
Tony.
Tom Izzo is going to always have a competitive program. He's always going to get the best out of his teams. He's always going to push pros out. But he's just a higher level of what we were just talking about with NC State. He ain't won a title since 2000. All right, we're on 2025. He's going to give you deep runs. You might get a Elite Eight, maybe a Final Four. He gets a chip. He's definitely going to retire. This has been a long road. He's done it all. I guess that's the only other thing he can do. But they're going to always compete. This is no surprise with Michigan. I'm at Michigan State.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. We're going to go to Tom Shanahan for his Shanahan report. Scott, I'm going to need you on for at least two basketball topics that apply to what we do, okay? And then I'll let you out of here if that's okay with you. And then we'll have one non-sport topic with you as well, which I know will be related. But go ahead, Tom. Give us an overview of the Shanahan report, and then you can go on from there. We'll see you next Tuesday night on Inside the Pigskin. Go ahead, Tommy.
Okay, Tom Shanahan dot report. Shanahan, just like the 49ers coach. My website is dedicated to exposing, teaching about how no coach and no school did more for college football integration than Michigan State's Duffy Daugherty. I've written books in there about it that explain what Duffy did that other coaches did not do. Other coaches followed a quota system limiting black players to 5 on the roster. And Michigan State was the first one to have fully integrated rosters. And but unfortunately, Duffy is lost in the myths and fairy tales of Bear Bryant leading the way in the 1970s by a negligent sports media, sloppy journalism, regurgitating an unvetted myth about the 1970 USC-Alabama game. And it's all explained in stories on my website and my book and in videos you'll find on my website. Thanks for having me on.
Great stuff. We'll see you Tuesday night, Tommy. Appreciate you, okay? Thank you. All right, so we're going to go to one non-sports topic, two basketball topics. That non-sports topic that we're going to put in here is that Rite Aid, once a mainstay drugstore for its store ice cream scoops, has officially closed all of its stores after decades in business. Jacob, what are your thoughts about the end of Rite Aid?
Amazon's taking them all. CVS will be gone. Eventually, one day, Walgreens is in a lot of trouble.
Right.
People are just going through Amazon. It comes in seconds. I mean, who wants to wait in line in these places? I mean, look at Walgreens' last ditch effort was the COVID shots 5 years ago. Who goes into these stores anymore? Right. So, I mean, this is not a shock. I'm just saying, when does Walgreens go down? I think Walgreens goes down first and then CVS.
Scott?
Unfortunately, I think it's the way of the world. I think Jacob's right. Amazon and online shopping is the way to go. I mean, I don't go to stores. If I want something, I buy it online.
Okay. Marvin?
Yeah, I mean that's where we are going. Unfortunately, this less human interaction, less common spots like stores. It's crazy. But I'll tell you the worst part. I grew up half my life in the San Fernando Valley. A bunch of Rite Aids. They had some of the best ice cream I've ever had as a child. That's the tragedy here. The loss of the ice cream, because that's what they were known for. If you know, you know. and I was a kid who had plenty.
Tony?
Marvin, I'm jealous. I've never had the ice cream, and the joy that was just on your face. I'm a hater right now, Marvin. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I've never, like, growing up, I've never been in a Rite Aid. I don't think. All I had in North Carolina was like Eckert's and stuff. And then when I moved down here to Florida, it was Eckert's wasn't even here anymore. It was just CVS's and Walgreens. But yeah, it's the way of the world. You want deliveries. Even the big stores like a Walmart or Target, they're delivering stuff to you now. And it does suck because person to person interaction is just dwindling down, and we're losing that as people. And this is just another little tidbit of that.
Well, Tony, one thing too is we didn't have a Rite Aid in my town growing up, but we had a they called it Key Rex Hall. We had called it Key Rex Hall, and my grandpa used to take me to the place, and not only did they have what you were talking about with the ice cream, they had a whole cafe with like breakfast, and you had like I used to call it creasy potatoes, and you had all that kind of stuff, and then they had their handmade milkshakes. Then they had all that kind of stuff. So I can go even farther back and even better.
Yeah, that sounds good. Like I said, I'm jealous.
All right, so let's go into basketball. Former Nuggets general manager and Michael Malone had a dispute over Russell Westbrook, and obviously Malone was fired, as well as the fact that GM Calvin Boots, they were dismayed that Michael Malone opted to play Russell Westbrook over Jalen Pickett late in games. Let's face the reality. Russell Westbrook is still a heck of a player, and Michael Malone believed in him and the veteran presence, and right now he has won an NBA championship. What are your thoughts, Jacob, about the way things came down with Michael Malone, the general manager, and Russell Westbrook in Denver?
It's just a GM that wanted his ego to overwhelm for his talent by itself. He didn't like that he wanted Pickett over Westbrook, and he wanted that, and he was mad. If Westbrook did something right, it was going to make him even more mad.
Right.
And he just didn't. Okay, well, I'm going to fire because of this. It's like we've lost a lot of this in this era. We've lost the idea of, well, I want to win. I want to win no matter what. I want to win because of me. And Matt Nagy was that way in Chicago, horribly. And it's like, I want to win because of me, and the egos get worse and worse and worse. It's like you win however you need to, and if it's still working with Russell Westbrook, you do it. But we don't have that anymore.
Scott?
Russell Westbrook is going to go down as one of the best guards to play in the NBA. He's had a spectacular career. I will never fault any coach for wanting to have Russell Westbrook on the floor. Period. End of story.
Well, that one, because we're going to talk about one in Sacramento in a minute, but okay, that one. So, okay, Marvin.
Yeah, this smells like a Kevin Stefanski type of situation that Jacob was alluding to, just the ego. Listen, Russ is a high effort, high energy guy. In his first year, if you watched him, or this year and every year in between, he's a guy. There's always room on a roster for a guy that plays with that kind of energy, and a guy who can still play.
Tony?
Michael Malone never played the young guys. That was a thing. Even on their run to the finals, he doesn't play the young guys. He's an old school kind of coach, which I can understand that pissing a GM off. The GM goes through all this draft process, talks to all the scouts. I'm drafting this guy because I want him to play. I think he can be a star, and you're not playing him in pivotal minutes, so I get it. And looking back, I got the numbers right here. Playing Russell Westbrook isn't a bad thing. Overplaying Westbrook will get you put out of the playoffs, and it's shown. He's never been past the second round, even when he was the top dog in OKC. And Russell Westbrook, in that last series, he had a -92 for plus minus. Maybe he shouldn't have been on the court so much. He scored 9 points on 35% shooting, which is not good in the NBA. He averaged 2.4 assists and 2.6 turnovers. So you was turning over the ball more than you was getting assists. Maybe Mike Malone should have thought about playing the young guy. I get the energy, I get the effort, but if the energy and effort is going in the wrong direction, we're not going to win no games.
Fair enough. Okay, let's stay on Westbrook again, though, because when he finally made his way to Sacramento, the biggest thing that Coach Doug Christie had is he only had one request for Russell Westbrook in year 18. I want Russ to be Russ, Jacob. Now you go from one coach that had a lot of confidence in him to another one, a really respectable person, and Doug Christie.
Well, it's confidence. It's who has confidence in you, you know. And it's like the one thing I do give with Russ is he has had confidence in himself, so he'll keep going and keep shooting and keep playing. But it's confidence. You want the coach to have it in you. I mean, well, I'm going to go to another sport. I'm telling you right now, Tua has no confidence. They don't have confidence in him.
Right.
It's got to be it has got to be the two-way street with something like that they got to want to believe in you, and you're going to believe in yourself. It's why marriages work when they do work. It's a team. You can use your confidence so much as a man, and then
right.
The woman can have it as a woman. But if someone doesn't have it in yourself, then you can only do for so long before you start to deplete. And that's how things work in life. And so, it's like, see, the minute he said that, he's back. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, Scott, some thoughts about Russell Westbrook in Sacramento.
I like Russell Westbrook in Sacramento. I don't know if he'll stay the whole season there, but I'd rather have him at point guard than Dennis Schrader.
Right.
Schrader hasn't had a good season at all. He hasn't been this. There's international Dennis Schrader, and then there's NBA Dennis Schrader. And the international player is much better. I don't know why. I don't know what the difference is. But he's just not getting his game together, and I think Westbrook is there to pick him up. And he's there to run the point, and he's doing a good job.
Marvin?
Doug Christie has a player's perspective. He has, he's a retired player, and he understands how important it is to be able to play free and comfortable and loose. And he's a guy whose name has been in the media, for not great things, not so much things that he's at fault for, but just for not, he's been distracted in the media. He's had that. Russell Wilson his name's been dragged his whole career, I feel like, man, or at least second half of it. At one point we celebrated, his triple doubles and how amazing that was and all that. But I feel like the last few years, man, we've had this anti-Russ campaign. And
right.
What he's telling Russ is just, man, chill out. It's all good. Be yourself. You know how to deal with this kind of stuff. You've been through it before. And just be normal Russell Westbrook, because that guy, that Russell Westbrook who's relaxed and can play cool, again, he can still play.
Okay, Tony. Russell Westbrook and Sacramento.
This is the fourth coach in 4 years that said they want a Russell Westbrook to be Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, right.
No one wants Russell Westbrook to be Russell Westbrook, because that is a ball dominant guard that at times, in the most critical times, is going to take a bad shot, who's going to be out of control and make a turnover. I am a huge Russell Westbrook fan for the energy that he plays with. He's going to try and play all 82. All those good intangibles are great, but it goes back to what I was saying in Denver. Sometimes his energy is going the opposite direction of the rest of the team.
Right.
Yeah, the last time Russell Westbrook was able to successfully be Russell Westbrook was in Washington, when he was third team All-NBA and he averaged a triple-double again. Maybe he was better off just staying in that situation, but he couldn't control the trades. Shout out to Doug Christie, though. He seems like he's going to be a good coach, which means Sacramento will be getting rid of him soon.
We have a couple NBA topics. One that Scott's just going to talk about, and we'll let him get going. I know he has a lot of work to do. Rest in peace to Eddie Jones, the former Los Angeles Laker. Some thoughts about Eddie Jones, Jacob.
Solid player. That's tough. It's tough to hear these, because we just heard of Elton Campbell also. And
right.
These are just, Eddie Jones was a solid player, and he was fun to watch. And I hate hearing these young ones. And we keep hearing the young ones year after year. I brought this up last week. I lost Moses Malone and Daryl Dawkins in a short time.
Hold up. Wait. I'm sorry. I do not want to cut anybody off. Do you mean Elgin Campbell?
Elgin Campbell for the Lakers.
Yeah, did you mean
you said Eddie Jones? You said Eddie Jones.
Yeah, did you mean Elgin Campbell? Because we can't just kill off Eddie Jones on the show.
I'm not sure where you're going with this.
You said Eddie
passed-
Jones.
Who
You
passed
said
away,
Eddie
Scott?
Jones. Yeah, who passed away?
Right.
Who?
Yeah. Yeah. Eddie Jones passed away a couple
Wow.
months
Jones?
ago. Yeah.
I okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only seen Elgin Campbell, but okay, I'm sorry.
Well, FYI, Eddie Jones passed away. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, that's the thing I'm saying though. It's the fact that it's like we're losing a lot of these guys. It's like I said, we years ago we lost Moses Malone and Daryl Dawkins in a short time. We lost Anthony Mason in a short time. I mean, a lot of these guys that I grew up with are going. That's the tough part.
Scott?
I'm going to be honest. I'm a little naive when it comes to Eddie Jones. I really can't comment one way or another as to how I feel about it because I'm just not. Unfortunately, I apologize for this, but I'm just not knowledgeable of Eddie Jones.
Don't worry about it. It's okay. Marvin?
Yeah, Eddie Jones was a great Laker. Enjoyed watching him. Didn't hear about him passing, and again, to Jacob's point, man, it's just you hate to see these guys go down so young. You know what I'm saying? In the NFL, the average lifespan is like 58 years or something like that. I don't know what it is in the NBA, but you would think it's slow based on Eldon Campbell and Eddie Jones here.
Okay. All right, Scott, what I'll do is I know you got to get rolling. I appreciate you giving us that extra 10 minutes or so. I want you to let everybody know how they can get a hold of you and what we're working on.
Well, we're part of Roundtable Sports. You can go to Jags Roundtable, Bucks Roundtable, Kings Roundtable, or Nets Roundtable, all.com. And you can have access to all of our great articles and videos. Scott is our executive producer for those 4 sites. He produces the podcasts that we have once a week. He produces a lot of the short videos that we put up with the stories. And he's doing a wonderful job with that. And we're very proud of our sites. And the writing is spectacular. We have very good writers that are knowledgeable on the topics, knowledgeable on the game, knowledgeable on the teams. And I hope everybody will come give us a look.
I appreciate the role of being a executive producer and broadcaster for the site. The challenge, I've looked forward to working with you, and I'm glad that you're on. Marvin is also involved with us as well. So Marvin puts in a lot of time and work. We have others. So, but meanwhile, Scott, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Obviously, we're in touch every day of the week anyway. So what's new? So, but meanwhile, thanks a lot for joining us on this Wednesday edition of the Sports Exchange. Have a good night.
My pleasure. My pleasure, gentlemen. It was enjoyable.
I'll be in touch with you tomorrow. Thanks, Scott. God bless, pal. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, with that said, let's bring in Stephen for a station break. There you go. Our station break is Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. That's my book. You can order it on Amazon, Kindle, and we're working on an audio book as well. You can see all of our shows here on the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel. All you have to do is hit the red subscribe button, and you'll be able to get all the notifications that we have with it. And you can also find our podcast anywhere you can get your podcast. Thank you very much. A few more topics to get to. Candy Ebling obviously is out at a Christmas party, but Stephen Reichel is kind enough to go ahead and fill in tonight. A few more topics I want to get to, and what we're going to do is go to a couple more non-sports topics. And the next one happens to be in Turkey. Get this. We got to go to Turkey tonight, everybody. Okay. And Cappadocia has hot air balloons daily at sunrise. All right. How about hot air balloons at sunrise? Jacob, what do you think about that? Is that a good way to wake up or what?
Hot air balloons on sunrise. I think a sunrise by itself is a good way to wake up. I'm an early bird, so I'll catch them before. It's like that's why I want land on sunrise on a beach. So hey, I'll take it.
Okay, Marvin.
Man, listen, after talking about Eldon Campbell and Eddie Jones, man, just waking up would be a blessing, to be honest with you. And, to do it on a hot air balloon, I'm not really the adventure type of dude. That's not me. Roller coasters is a lot for me. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I think someone else would have a different appreciation for the hot air balloon other than me. But yeah, I appreciate waking up.
That's okay. Hey, I'm an adventurous person. I'll go inside one of those things. I don't think my other half would probably.
Marvin, you're an NFL player. You don't want adventure. You're having 300-pound
It's
guys
different.
going at you.
That's different. That's different. My feet are on the ground. My feet are on the ground. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Sure. I've actually seen these things on like social media, just like viral posts. You know, I'm also scared of heights, Marvin, but something like that, if I have the opportunity, I got to get the gumption. I got to do it. Like some things I may, when I'm out of town or like having on vacation, my favorite quote is, "We're here." Basically, we're here to experience what this experience is. It's kind of like a win in Rome type situation. So like, I would be nervous as hell. I'm not going to hold you, but I definitely would have to do it. And it looks beautiful. I've seen these things on video before.
Okay, it's come to my attention. I want to just make a correction while we're live on the air. According to my crack statistician in the background, that Eddie Jones, as Tony suspected, was fake news. I'm sorry for the misinformation. Sometimes
It was a post that was going around on Facebook, and I went and checked, and Nick Van Exel had made a post when they made a bit about it. He said, "Just talked to brother Eddie Jones yesterday. He's doing great." So
good. Well, you know what?
It's a lot of that stuff you see on social media sometimes, especially on Facebook. They do a lot of those fake posts. I seen a post that sat there and told me Ray Rhodes had died, all this other nonsense. So I'm going going through Google and all this stuff. I'm like, there's no way that he's dead, and we're not seeing it all over the place. Nope, Ray Rhodes is alive and well. But it's these pages that farm for engagement, especially on Facebook, that make these fake posts. Someone had posted that Jason Kelsey's wife had cancer, and she was on her deathbed. I'm like, she was just doing her podcast with a full head of hair. How do you got her superimposed with with a bald head and stuff like that? It's crazy what people do for clicks these days. It's nuts.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, that's a new media age that we live in. I picked up actually most of them, and if I sent some of them aren't right, what I'll actually do on some of them is block those from entertaining on my field. But
I'll report them. I report them. I don't even play around. I report anything that's fake news. I report it.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you. Hey, listen, I have no problem making a correction on the air. I'm glad, and Tony, I'm glad you suspected that and picked it up. This makes you look smarter, anyways. But that's why he's getting an expanded role on the network to begin with. So
absolutely.
I'm glad you picked it up, Stephen. And I'll know exactly what sources going forward that I don't trust, and the one that I'm going to research when we get off air will be one of them. But thanks for pointing it out, Stephen, as well.
My
so
pleasure,
let's continue on here. At least the guy's alive. There's nothing wrong with that. So let's go to our next non-sports topic of the night. This one isn't fake. This is real because a lot of people have lived it. But Miami Airport tops a global list for lost luggage. A new study by shipping company Arca mentioned. Miami Airport, people. I'll tell you, you ever been to that airport, Marvin? That's a big place.
I have, man. I lived down there for about 15 years. Flew out of mostly Fort Lauderdale, but many times Miami. And I'll tell you what, I don't think that's a new statistic because I haven't lived there in 6 years. And I recall, back when I was living there, hearing that same thing. So, man, they got to pick it up because ain't nothing worse than going out of town. You're away from home. You don't have the comforts of home. You pack what you can just so you can feel right and be able to get on while you're not home. And they lose your stuff, all the stuff you need for your facial stuff, your hair, your clothes, your drawers. I mean, you lose all your stuff, all your medicine. It's a horrible situation, man. They got to fix that.
Tony,
I've never flew out of there, but is a comedian that I listen to, Benji Brown, and he said he'd rather walk to Fort Lauderdale Airport than catch a flight out of Miami. So I haven't saw this stat, but just hearing that somebody rather walk to Fort Lauderdale than fly out of there, I believe it. I believe it, man. But that got to be terrible, though. Like that kind of statistic should spark some kind of change because who wants to be known as the leader of losing people's luggage? And if I'm the city of Miami, I don't want people coming here being uncomfortable. I want to drive more and more people to come here to spend their money. That's the kind of stuff that makes people not want to go.
Jacob.
Think of the embarrassment for the second on this. I live 20 minutes from the busiest airport in the whole wide world, Hartsfield-Jackson International. That is the center of everything. And yet they are not the number one loss. You would think just based off of numbers
Yeah,
that
true.
they would be. Huh?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you would
yeah.
think so. But then Miami's big, but it's not near as big as Hartsfield-Jackson. And then here's the thing: they're saying Miami, and then they say Chicago O'Hare is not on there compared to Miami. How embarrassing is this, and who's running this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I have to fly out of there for international flights, but I'll tell you after hearing this, I'm just going to make sure I get my bags right to where they have to be dropped off and make sure that I do it. I don't go ahead and trust a third party to get it there. I go right to the gate, drop it off, boom. I expect to see it on the way back, no matter what airport it is. Well, we have one more non-sports topic of the night. And I also want to point out that Marvin and I will have our own show called Motor Mouth and Marvin. And it's going to be a good show. We're going to talk about non-sports related topics as well that are trending, as well as some big name sports topics. So that will launch our first episode, the first one on December 31st, and it'll air for about 30 to 45 minutes once a week. So we'll keep everybody noticed there. So anybody that comes on here, certainly welcome to making a guest appearance once in a while. I do have one more non-sports topic. I think it's pretty interesting. The first Blockbuster video opened in Dallas, Texas on October 19th, 1985 by founder David Cook. It was a revolutionary concept offering over 8,000 VHS tapes and a computerized checkout system. Jacob, I'm sure you remember Blockbuster video.
Oh, yeah. We got one later in Quincy. We had a Freeze video, and then we had a Hollywood video later. So we got Blockbuster and everything like that. But what I remember the way I did with Blockbuster was I was one of the first times because they used to have the $1 right in front. So that's all I could afford. So I would go get the $1 the things, and they were all ridiculous. They were terrible horror movies, which I can't stand horror movies anyway. I was going by the alphabet. So there'd be these terrible horror movies, these women's prison movies, and everything ridiculous and stupid, and all that kind of stuff. And that was the first movies I would rent from Blockbuster. But, the big thing about it is the fact that we miss these places because we don't. It's like one of the things is if you got yourself a new release, I mean, you're talking to somebody. Oh, how was that? Good. Oh, yeah. You're going to love this. Blah, 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 blah. We don't get that anymore when you're doing the streaming.
Okay. All right. Great stuff. I remember Blockbuster. They actually used to have a Blockbuster Bowl here over at Hard Rock Stadium, but that was in there for a while. But then, like a lot of bowls that went down, but it was a good. I give them credit. I went to one of them. It was kind of neat just to go there anyhow. So, all right, we'll go back on the sports here, and we're going to talk about the fact that Ian and Noah Eagle will be in the booth for the NFL Christmas, and we'll call NFL Christmas games. How about that, Jacob? What are your thoughts about the Eagles flying high on Christmas?
It's better than the Eagles in the playoffs. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. Stephen may pop on for that and might go ahead and give it to you. I know he's in the background listening to everything you're saying, but we'll keep the thing to the Eagles.
They're all scared of us. They don't want to see us.
There you go, Stephen. I knew you'd
whatever. Yeah, whatever. Have fun. I got to give you this, though, Stephen. I had somebody in our league get into the playoffs because of Jalen Hurts. in that Monday night game, 0.4 in the Monday night game, and it costs everybody.
Like getting him back out here soon enough.
But
you don't work with Steven a lot. He's a pistol when he gets on there, and Marvin and I know that, right, Marvin?
Absolutely.
I love Steven.
But the thing is, all I'm waiting for in one day is Ian and Noah Eagle getting on there, and Ian being the dad, and Noah going, "Dad." We just need to imagine that kind of thing. It'd be kind of funny.
Yeah, Ian Eagle's pretty good. I mean, I've met him a few times up in Jacksonville, and he's a really good guy. And his son Noah's doing a pretty good job for NBC as well. So you talk about good roots in terms of bloodlines. The Eagles do pretty well. Marvin?
Scott, I missed the first part. I'm not understanding the Iron Eagle.
Iron Eagle is a broadcaster, and so is Noah Eagle, father-son broadcasting team.
Okay. All right, and so they're going to team up to do.
They're going to actually have two separate. They're going to actually have two separate.
Okay, I'm sorry. I heard about that. Yeah,
no, that's okay.
Yeah. Actually, I heard about that, man. Listen, if your dad's a mechanic, you're gonna probably be a mechanic, right? Especially if you grew up in the same house with him. So that's how it goes, man. I completely get that. Kudos to him for having the balls or having the ability to step into the same position as his dad and try to compete at that level. I definitely understand that to a degree. And I like these kind of stories, man. These kind of stories warm my heart. I like this kind of stuff.
Hey, Steven, I want you to come on for a moment, okay, please? And that's this. Do you have any thoughts about Ian and Noah Eagle? Have you ever watched them in action? I'm sure he's probably around here because these guys are pretty good.
Nah, you're listening to you talk about it now is the first I've ever heard about it or them.
Okay, no, that's fine. I didn't know if you were aware of them, but Ian Eagle's been a pro, and now Noah Eagle is getting his opportunity with not only NFL, but he does a good job with college football.
I'm just gonna say they got a great last name.
Yeah. All right, well, I'll take that all day long, Stephen. Thank you very much.
Their next name needs to be Giants or Cowboys.
Why would they want to do that?
Exactly.
Why would they want to do that?
Because they want to go 8-9.
No, they want to do 6-7, right?
Yeah, why not?
There you go. Great stuff, Stephen. Okay, so Tony, I guess you have the last word on this one.
Another great father-son duo. I like Ian and Noah. Noah's the son, right? Yes, Noah. Noah did great. I liked him ever since the 2024 Olympics when he was doing the basketball games with Dwayne Wade. And now I'm liking him on Peacock. Ian Eagle, he's been doing great work for the longest nationally, and I think he calls the Nets games locally.
Right.
So I like listening to them. The second best father-son duo to call games right now behind Joe and Jack Buck. But Noah got a lot of work to do, and he got a lot of time to do it. So we'll see if they can catch up. Real quick, Scott, are they doing the same game or?
No, they'll be doing separate ones, Tony.
They got to do the same game, man, so we can guess which voice it is. Because one thing that's crazy is they both sound just alike. Like if you listen to both of them with your eyes closed, you don't know who's talking.
Are they both color analysts or
no? They're both play-by-play.
They're play-by-play, yeah. Oh well, yeah. That's why they can't both do the game, yeah.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Okay. It's better to be Noah Eagle than the guy with the Noah with the name K that had a hat. Do you guys know it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
You don't want to. I'll send you a picture. I'm not going to say it.
It's a family show, Jacob. Come on.
I'm not. You don't want. Trust me. Trust me. I do not want you guys to have the thing. I'll send a picture of it sometime. It's ridiculous.
Okay, let's go back to basketball. Mark Cuban says the Mavs won't trade Anthony Davis this season. We want to try to win. Do you believe it, Jacob?
Oh, they can say what they want. Anthony Davis. It's like, well, what? Every time you see him in one of those AI jerseys that some people put it on, that's the longest he'll have the jersey on before he's on the bench for 6 weeks. Just trade him if you can.
Okay, Marvin.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Right now, what that means is right now there's no trade offer that he's looking at. Okay, right. So we call that coach talk. I mean, you say all the right things, and but the minute he gets an offer, from the Kings or whoever it may be, AD is gone. This is a business, baby. You know what I'm saying? And you're an asset, and you could be out just like that.
And he'll get there, and he'll play 2 games and miss the next 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, his durability leaves a lot to be desired. That's for sure, Tony.
I think it depends on what Kyrie Irving timeline is.
Right. Okay.
They've been playing better the last couple of weeks. They're climbing the standings a little bit, and I might be a fool, but I feel like if Kyrie Irving comes back and they're in playoff contention, they can make some noise in the playoffs. I really do. I think so. And honestly, I think the Mavs need to hold on to Anthony Davis because he was the prize piece of a Luka Doncic trade that people still have a bad taste in their mouth about.
That's not a prize piece. That's not a prize piece. He plays 5 games a year. He's not a prize piece. That's just the part of it.
No, that Max Christie wasn't the prize piece of a Luka Doncic.
They can call it a prize piece all they want because they know his name. They get because they know his name, but he plays 5 games a year. I mean, his wardrobe gets more play than he does.
Wow.
That may be true, but the prize piece of that trade was Anthony Davis, and they need to try and get something back on that return. So they have to at least let this ride out for a full year. Ever since Jason Kidd stopped making the mistake of trying to make Cooper Flagg a point guard, the same mistake he tried to do with Giannis Antetokounmpo, they have been playing better. They need a point guard, though. If they can figure out the point guard situation, Anthony Davis can miss his little bit of time during the season. As long as he's ready for a playoff run, I think they can still make some noise. So it depends on what level of winning they consider a success for this season.
I mean, one thing I can say is I certainly appreciate where Mark Cuban's coming from. He bad enough he had to see Luka go to the Lakers to begin with, and now obviously he doesn't want to see another guy who could win if he's healthy. So I could see where Mark Cuban's coming from, and I would certainly be on the side that I wouldn't really be so quick to let him go. But the trade deadline is another animal for sure.
I'm glad to see it's Mark Cuban making these things, though, regardless of whether I'm right or wrong. I'm glad it's Mark Cuban making these.
He's not, though.
No, but I'm saying I'm glad to hear his name again because I cannot stand Nico Harrison.
Well, Nico Harrison didn't want him there. That's why he's gone. That's why Mark Cuban is more actively involved. Nico Harrison should have been gone the day that trade was made, but obviously it's too late to worry about it. But Cuban's involved again.
I think Cuban's involved in the media. I think Cuban can have a microphone in front of him. I think he can be on podcasts. I don't think Cuban is making any of these decisions anymore. It sounds good. But one thing for sure, you don't buy something for billions of dollars and tell the person who you bought it from, still come make these decisions.
Yeah,
Dallas is doing this on their own.
But the one thing that Cuban, though, Tony, does have going for him is he is the owner that helped them win their world championship. So I'd like to think that his voice carries a little bit. But again, I can totally understand your point too, Tony. He is responsible for their lone championship with Rick Carlisle there.
Well, and you're right on the thing about it though is Cuban and Nico Harrison had themselves a little war to the point where he went to the main owners and said, "I don't want Cuban around anymore." So he made all the decisions that he made. Nico Harrison is an egotistical. If I've ever seen one, he doesn't deserve another job in the league for that crap that he pulled.
I don't know, man. I think Nico gets a lot of flack. But GMs can't make a trade without an owner approving it. Like the owner's getting he's getting away with this.
Not when it's a franchise guy like that. Not when it's
exactly like the owner just was like, I didn't know this was happening.
Oh, by the way, we created Luka. No, it didn't go down like
that. And one thing is, and I get it, Luka trade, that's just a whole nother beast. But 6 months before that, Nico Harris looked like a genius because he hit on Kyrie Irving and they led their team all the way to the finals. So like the Nico Harris slander, I get it. Trading Luka is terrible, but where's the ownership? The ownership definitely has something to do with it. And I think that max contract that Luka, that $300 million, I don't think Dallas is trying to pay that money. Like that's a whole nother conversation about these owners trying to save money.
Nico came from looking like he was trying to get the win. And I'm just saying this part, he looked like he was trying to get themselves winning to something that was not going to win whatsoever. And it was his ego in the way. And it's like, you can't, for whatsoever, you can't let your ego get yourself in the way and it's like, and it's going to be this way forever. The thing that killed Nico Harrison was the fact that they made that decision. Then they've lost, and then they come out to the season and really lose. And it's like whatsoever, and he literally looks like he looks like he threw all his chips in when the high card was a 5 in his hand.
Yeah, that's I don't know. That's the surface, man. Kyrie Irving getting hurt, Gaffer got hurt, Lively got hurt. They literally was almost having to forfeit games last year for not having enough players, and that ain't Nico Harrison's fault. And it ain't Anthony Davis' fault because he's only one of the 7 or 8 that's getting hurt, So it on the surface, and I get it, Luka trade is always going to look bad. But once you start digging deeper, it's a lot more to that. It's more of a tangle web.
It's what the thing is, you can say that the tangled, and you're correct. My thing I'm trying to say though is the way it was handled through the media, through everybody, and then the way they lost. It absolutely positively looks like his ego was making that trade, and the idea of it over the chance of winning for the future, over especially when he was in the media and he was saying, "Well, no, we want to win right now," and then they started off so horribly. And then it looks, and then here's the thing: it doesn't even look like he wanted Cooper Flag to begin with, because he put Cooper Flag as a point guard.
That's Jason Kidd, but that goes back to Nico Harrison taking a lot of the brunt. Jason Kidd, why are you putting him at point guard?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm completely with you on that. I'm like, and here's the thing: he's starting to get better too. I get this, Flag's starting to get better, but still, I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to our final topic of the night. $165 million, a record expansion fee to bring the National Women's Soccer League expansion team to Atlanta. Atlanta has become a soccer powerhouse. Arthur Blank is behind this. Jacob, you're closer. You live in the Atlanta area. How are the folks in Georgia responding to the women playing soccer? I mean, I think it's great.
It's not going to be a problem. It ain't going to be a problem. Not like the years earlier and stuff like that. Remember, it's their own stadiums, their own everything now. No one's going to have an issue. There's something for everybody in it in these things now. It's like I brought up something tonight. I was talking streaming with somebody, and I said the one thing about streaming is that there's something for everybody. You get there where it's not just 3 channels like we grew up with. There's something for everybody, and now with women's sports and it's getting more popular, there's something for everybody. There's people that maybe there's not as many that would watch than there would be men's sports, but there are more that are watching now, and people are, and then there's more options for it. So they're going to be happy here. There's going to be 30,000 people that go to these things because it's a 7 million person area in Metro Atlanta.
Well, WNBA is a classic example of that. Marvin,
Yeah,
Atlanta, your area getting a women's soccer team. That's incredible.
And listen, football is king out here, but this MLS team, the guy team, listen, they got momentum, man. They got a huge fan base. People go to the games. You see all the merch and people wearing the gear. I believe that this girl team can do well. The women's team can do well. You know, Atlanta's a big sports town. They embrace all the sports that they have here. You know, high school, college, and pro. So yeah, I think it's a smart move, and I look forward to it. My kids are like that.
Tony,
women's sports is probably the biggest booming business in all sports right now. So it makes sense. Maybe they can pay Trinity Rodman $1 million to come down there. Just joking. They already vetoed that, which is crazy. But I like it. Like you said, Marvin, the Atlanta men's soccer team, they had the Mercedes Dome rocking. I think they won the championship already, or at least played in the championship already as an expansion.
For the men, yeah, they did the first year.
Yeah, in the first year. So I'm sure they're going to try and bring that energy to Atlanta for the women's. And to be honest, at least for me, and it's crazy, I have it on a soccer shirt, a jersey today.
You have a kit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Kit. All right. I just learned something new today. I got a kit.
But yeah.
Hold on. That's called a kit, Jacob?
It's called a kit.
Okay.
Yeah.
The logo situation that we're looking at.
Or like the jersey and all, or the logo is a kit?
No, the kit is what you're wearing.
Okay. Yeah, so jersey. All right. Just a soccer kit on. I feel like women's soccer is bigger in the United States than men's soccer, at least from my point of view. I'm not a big soccer guy, so I think that'd be great in Atlanta. And hey, Jacob crunched the numbers. 7 million people in the area. You can get 30,000 out with the right promotion.
Well, let's not kid yourself. It doesn't hurt that the women's soccer has won the World Cup and the men's hasn't even sniffed it. So, I mean, I'll tell you, all you have to do is look at that, and you can talk about the women's players, and we'll do that another night. But I'm just glad that Atlanta's getting a women's soccer team. They've proven that they support soccer, and when you have a stadium that's a jewel like the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, why not put another one in there? All right, time to move on to pundit pennant. Jacob, go ahead.
One of the biggest things that we're dealing with right now in this world is we saw, and I'm just going to say this isn't going to be much of sports tonight, okay? We saw this with Rob Reiner. Saw the whole thing with Rob Reiner, regardless of what we had felt, and what we think. It's like, and there's going to be people that disagreed with him during. But I wanted to use this. Hey, and Scott, come up real quick. I want to tell you something.
Okay, go ahead, Stephen. Put me
I'm
in there.
using this to promote a show, a show that I'm going to be doing with them, and we're all going to do a sideline. I want you to just know that part because it's going to be a little
Sure.
different. So
Okay.
I want you to know this. Okay. So here, okay, you can go back to me on the thing, but this is the deal. The Rob Reiner thing made me change a whole lot on things. It's like, this isn't a hate on anybody or a like on anybody doing anything. I came up with an idea of a show called, I would call it originally Ignore 47. It's called Ignore the Noise. It's going to be a political show. And the reason I'm doing it, the idea of the show is simple. We're going to talk politics. We're going to talk political things and what's going on around the world. We don't say the name Donald Trump. Not once. We say the name, we say the number 47, or we say the president, or whatever somebody wants to do for their own end. But we don't say his name. And the reason we don't is because it reminds me of when I would watch Rob Reiner talk his art and talk film and talk acting. I mean, he was like the nicest guy at every Thanksgiving dinner known to man. And when he talked about helping people, he's the nicest guy in the world known to man. The minute he said the name, and it was because of his feeling and everything like that, he became pure rage. So it made me think, between the pure rage that he had the last about 10 years, and then what happened with his kid and what his kid did to him, he died in a very rough way.
Oh.
He died in a very rough way the last 10 years on something like that, because this is a guy that's not his normal personality. And and he even said that when Trump got reelected, he stepped into for about 2 months into a mental institution. He said it himself. It's regardless of what anybody's saying, people get triggered by this. So this is the whole idea that what I'm doing right now with this story, or with this show, is we're going to talk just like any other political show. We're going to talk everything. We're not going to say his name. Not once. I will say the name the first night to explain what we're doing, but we're not going to say the name once. We'll, like I said, we'll say 47 or the president or whatever somebody wants, but we won't say it. And it's because something is triggering somebody right there, whether it's in love or in hate. And we have got to get back to a normal conversation in life with this. We got to get back to normal conversations where we can't have these triggers, whether it's in love or hate or anything like that, where it's causing rage. We can't. It's got to stop. And the thing is, the one thing that I would hope from this show, and more people start to see it, is that maybe more news people in the cycle will do the same thing that we did. Say 47 or the president. And we start getting back to normal.
Well done. Well done. Anybody have
And I
any
just
thoughts?
hope everybody else likes the idea of this show.
Yeah, that's why I give you this segment, Jacob, to let you turn it loose. And also now you have an opportunity to speak your mind now that you're on Sports Wrap as well. So now you don't only get it once, but you get it twice a week. Sports Wrap does come on at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time on Thursdays. Go ahead, Marvin.
No, I'll say that was good, Jacob. I think you're absolutely right. I think the name itself, I mean, depending upon, it doesn't even matter if you're way left or way right. I mean, the name itself just makes people emotional, you know what I'm saying? And and depending upon, how you're impacted by a policy, I mean, I can understand that, so it's tough, man. We're definitely in different times. I don't know. I was trying to think of what president have we had that you can compare to our current president, you know what I'm saying? Who had this, who was that different in his approach to things, you know what I'm saying?
Well, the main thing about it is the reason I'm doing this also, as I said, there's going to be people that love him, that are going to say the name anyway, who gives a thing. But there's two others that we have to look at, okay? The ones that don't like, but we have another way. The ones that, regardless if they like him or hate him, are fatigued with it. They're fatigued hearing his name constantly. And that's where my idea is. And then maybe if we get ourselves popular, maybe other news areas can follow this.
Jacob, yes. Fatigued. I was talking to my sister. We're only in like the 11th month. Like, this was in November. We're like, bro, we're only in November of year one. And it feels like it's been 4 years already. So fatigue for sure. Like
yeah.
that is it right there.
And that's where the next thing is. So we don't get ourselves really fatigued and we don't get to this thing. What if you don't? Here's the thing. People, they keep getting angry thinking they're going to go get him. He wants the rage. You don't do that. You don't do that. It's like the guy wants the rage. He feels on it. What if you ignored him? What if you ignored the name? You might see him step on a Lego because he wants attention all the time.
Yeah.
That's what I try to bring up to everybody. He wants the attention all the time. You keep giving it to him. What if you don't give it to him? What if you don't say his name? He wants the name out there all the time. He has his name on every building known to man. What if you don't put his name in the news? What if you don't do it? Watch him step on a Lego, I promise you.
A Lego. Okay.
Step on a Lego at 2 a.m. That's what I call it.
Interesting. Bringing up Legos here on the Sports Exchange. That's what I love about it. And I enjoyed your pundit segment, Jacob. It definitely will make people think for sure. And one of the things that Marvin and I are going to do on the Motor Mouth and Marvin show will be to try to talk about things along these lines, as well as some of the hot topics in sports as well. So, but no, this is a good time, Jacob, we have more time to express your opinion. And I think that you're appropriately probably talked about what a lot of people are thinking, but you had the platform to get it out there. Tomorrow you'll be on with me for Sports Wrap, and you'll get another opportunity to think of something as well. So meanwhile, Stephen, I'll bring you on for one last station break. And tomorrow's lineup, just so you know, we're going to have Sports Wrap at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, followed by Fire Up. Candy Ebling will be back hosting that show. And obviously, that's what we call the country club, where she lets it go. And I'll tell you, she does a really well job. I'm glad you have a good time with her Christmas party. So, Stephen, one more station break. Lessons from the microphone, tuning into the enduring wisdom of visionary leaders. The book that I wrote, people, working on part 2 next year. So you can find it on Kindle, Amazon, and we're working on, and Barnes & Noble, and we're working on the audio book as well. Our shows can be seen on South Florida Tribune YouTube. Please hit the red subscribe button, and you'll be able to get all the notifications by hitting the bell at the top. And you can also find the audio version wherever you get your podcast. So meanwhile, great job tonight by my crew. We had Tom Shanahan on tonight. We also had Scott Solomon, the guy I work with, and Marvin Powell, who works with him as well, and I. And, of course, Tony, who's a rising star in our system. And, Jacob, you're definitely in a class by yourself, and I enjoy working with you as well. So
I enjoy working with everybody.
It's a privilege to be able to work with you, not only once but twice a week. Your opinions matter, and I'll tell you, your knowledge of sports ceases to amaze me all the way around. So our goal is to make sure you can express it in so many different ways, and I'm glad you like hockey. I needed somebody like you on that show, and I know you're giving it a boost as well. But that does it for tonight's edition of the Sports Exchange. So as I mentioned before, on behalf of Scott Solomon, Tom Shanahan, Jacob Christner, Tony, Marvin Powell III, and myself, I want to thank you very much for joining us on this edition of the Sports Exchange. We're planning to do a Monday night show for the Sports Exchange. We'll see who can make it that night, but nonetheless, we don't want to do anything on Christmas Eve. So we'll try to get one more in, and whoever shows up, fine. That'd be great. Tony, be prepared if you want to come on Monday night. You're welcome to join us as well that night. And then the only shows we're planning to broadcast next week are Sports Exchange on Monday and Inside the Pigpen, and that's about all we're going to have as well. So that does it for us. Have a good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.
All right.